Hello, everybody, and welcome to Moo Head Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. Joining me today, as very often is the case, is Moose, but he's actually awake today, so we get that advantage going our way.
Yeah, we got that going for us. Gunga galunga. Gunga gunga galunga.
Gunga galunga. You know what that
on my
is?
deathbed, I will achieve eternal consciousness. So I got that going for me.
Oh, boy.
It's already started off bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, today's program is an interesting program.
No, it isn't.
No. It really is, because I'm taking this a little bit of a different direction. And I want to go beyond the who's going to be the next head coach for the Browns? Who's going to be the next offensive coordinator? Who's going to get, I get real bored with,
whiny questions about what the Browns are going to do next.
I'm not a soothsayer, all right? But there is something when I see news stories that kind of dovetail, in a way that gives me a theme for a program. And, I want to talk about something which is my definition of what winning is, because people, you ask every fan, I just want the Browns to be a winner. I mean, what is the definition of being a winner today? All right.
Okay.
I wanted to share some things with you that I definitely don't consider winning. Like being a genetic male and changing your identity to female and then knocking out a female boxer. That's not winning. All right. Being given inside trading information is not winning. Having access to the best college football recruits in the goddamn country and then turning around and beating Troy State 52-0 is not winning. Defending yourself against Major League Baseball game fixing by saying you actually made the money watching two animals kill one another is not winning.
What?
That's Emmanuel Classe's new excuse.
Oh, I've not heard that.
You don't need
cockfighting.
Yeah, I didn't bet on the game. It was a cockfight. Okay, yeah. Take this cock in your mouth.
Yeah, that would have been best left unsaid, I would have thought. But anyway.
My God. Wow. Allowing 1% of the population to own 98% of the wealth of the world is not winning.
Or letting them own all the broadcasting and social media platforms.
Oh, I'll get to that in a minute. One of those 98% and buying all of your competitors is not winning.
Correct. It's exploitation instead of winning people. I mean, if you want the real definition.
A 3-14 or 5-12 or a career record of 40% wins, that's not winning. Having one winning season as a coach in 6 years is not winning. Signing legislation with an auto pen is not winning, and selling out your values is not winning. Legislatively forcing your morals on other people is not winning. And spewing falsehoods with doctored photos and false videos is not winning. Allowing yourself to be the dummy in the ventriloquist act is not winning.
Wow.
I get sick and tired of we're winning. What are you winning? I'd like to know what these people out there really think. You gamble money and you lose money. Sometimes you take money and say, I think this is what's going to happen, and you win. That's not winning, because if you compile everything that you've done historically, you're not winning. So I think people are confused. I really believe that people are confused and don't know what winning is. So I wanted to give a lesson to people so you know at least what in the fuck you're listening to and who you're listening to when you're listening to everything on social media, on the radio, on the television, or whatever. This starts a long time ago in the early 1980s with the FCC docket number 8090.
Oh, God, I know where you're going with this.
Now, the 8090s were frequencies that were squeezed in by the FCC so that minorities could own radio stations.
Yeah, and college radio stations and all that nice public shit.
Yep, and it was done in the public's interest.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Who is this public?
What a win. What a win. We're winning. We're winning. And so people showed up, and it's like you had to apply for the 8090, okay? And you had to be a minority, and a double minority would get preferred treatment. So what happened is the big companies just fronted themselves with Native Americans and black people and just said, yep, there you go. And they got all the fucking 8090 stations and had those people fronting for them.
Yeah.
All right. So what ended up happening is the big guys got all the frequencies that set up what happened to radio in the 1990s that ended up killing radio completely, along with technology and time. I have been talking about 92.3 FM over the course of the last couple of weeks, and Sports Boy Tony and his stupidity. And I wanted to take a deeper dive. Who owns 92.3 The Fan, WKRK FM in Cleveland? Because nobody's going to tell you this except me. This is fucking truth. All right?
Can I guess? Can I say it's Disney ultimately?
No, it's not Disney. No, it is not.
Right.
Nope.
Well, I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, this is really interesting. 92, and this is right off of current ownership. Known as 92.3 The Fan, is owned by Audacy, AUDACY Incorporated, a major radio broadcasting company that recently emerged from bankruptcy, with ownership transferring to a new entity funded by creditors, including groups linked to George Soros. You stupid MAGA fucks! You don't even know. The guy you think is the most dangerous man in the world owns 92.3 The Fan. But you see,
wow.
the bottom line is that these people own everything. I want to share with you Audacy.com that did not exist when I was in the radio business. The company never existed. And this is going to absolutely make you, if you continue to listen to that drivel after I'm done, you should share this with everybody. Because do you really give a shit what something owned by George Soros and what the people are paid to say? Do you really give a shit? Audacy. The company Audacy owns 3 stations in Arizona, and I there's a whole series of them.
Okay.
Phoenix, Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, Sacramento, California, San Diego, San Francisco. How did this happen? Denver, Colorado, Hartford, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Gainesville, Ocala, that's here in Florida, Miami in Florida, Orlando, and tons of stations. Do you realize in Miami alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking radio stations in Miami, 3 in Orlando. And 4 in Atlanta, and 7 more in Chicago. In Wichita, Kansas. Listen to this. New Orleans, Louisiana, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston. I am just nowhere yet near the end of this list. Springfield, Massachusetts, Detroit, Michigan, Minneapolis, Kansas City. Look at Kansas City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9 radio stations in Kansas City. Stupid fuckers. And they're owned by George Soros, who doesn't know dick about radio. He just knows how to own everything. Unbelievable. St. Louis, Missouri, Las Vegas, Nevada, Buffalo, New York City, Rochester, Greensboro, Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. George Soros owns WDOK 102.1, the adult contemporary in Cleveland, WKRK, Sports Boys, Tony's employer, WNCX, classic rock in Cleveland, WQAL, hot adult contemporary in Cleveland. Portland, Oregon, Philadelphia, it just goes on. Pittsburgh. I mean, it makes me sick. It literally makes me sick. How did these people end up in
KDKA.
this position? They own a ton of shit.
Wow. Well, now, I put the link, the wiki link, which I don't know whether it's totally updated up there, but
92.3 in Cleveland, so that you know, was a historical radio station at one time when it was WZAK. It was the first black-owned radio station in America, okay? Now it's just all part of this rubble. If you look at more information about the ownership and operations of WKRK 92.3 in Cleveland, I am going to read this to you. They're owned by Odyssey, a privately held radio broadcaster that emerged from Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection September 30th of 2024, following a restructuring that eliminated approximately $1.6 billion in debt. How is that possible? Prior to this, Odyssey, then operating as Entercom, no, I remember Entercom, acquired the station through its $1.5 billion merger with CBS Radio, completed in 2017.
Okay, yeah.
All right. And that expanded its portfolio to include sports-focused outlets like in markets like Cleveland. This consolidation positioned 92.3 within Odyssey's broader strategy of leveraging syndicated content and local sports affiliations to drive listener engagement and revenue. Bull fucking shit.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. So you know what they basically did? What the 80s, 90s, and I started that in the beginning of the program, so you have to listen to the whole show to understand. Through the 80s, 90s, the frequencies that they added, that the big guys all got, then bigger fish ate smaller fish, then bigger fish, then bigger fish, then bigger fish, and bigger fish, until they bankrupted the motherfuckers. Correct. And then, clang, clang, the end of the line, George fucking Soros. And that's what happened to the industry I was in, why I had to retire when I was 43 years old. That's why. Now, the thing that makes this really irritating to me is how can you believe a goddamn thing that they talk about? Whose interest is this in? It's not in the public's interest.
No.
So who's winning in a situation where every single radio station is in the hands of a select few people, that television stations are being bought out and merging, and how does this help? I don't understand. How does this help the process out? And what is the concept of winning in this environment? And I'll tell you what part of it is. Indiana Hoosiers quarterback Fernando Mendoza, he's going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft. He's worth $1.5 million before he even steps on an NFL field. His total name, image, and likeness NIL valuation for the 25-26 season will be up to $2.6 million without him having taken a fucking snap in the NFL. That places him amongst the top 5 highest valued players in college football. Not highest earners, highest valued.
There is a difference, too.
Yep.
Between value and earning.
So I look at it this way. I was in favor of all athletes getting compensated for their likenesses so that video game companies like EA and those monsters that own everything and bought out all of their competition in sports video games, so that they just didn't run rampant and just literally steal the identities of players without compensating them. But we've seen how this works, has worked out. You've got the big schools literally bringing in the biggest athletes, okay? And
correct. Literally the biggest athletes, like the 350 pounders.
And then you got the Notre Dames who say, we're canceling the USC game because we want another easier opponent that we can crush. This isn't winning, folks. This isn't winning. If you're fans and you really want to win, you got to have a good team. You got to have good coach. You got to have good management. You got to have people who communicate with one another, But the notion that a guy can be at the University of Indiana and he was virtually unknown. They had a good year last year, but this year's been a great year. Okay. Head coach deserves a lot of credit for that. No sour grapes in this. But the bottom line is that, that one quarterback guy is getting this huge, massive benefit out of being in the right place at the right time and performing well. But there are many other players who will never get the opportunity to play at major college level. So what is happening? All right. What is winning for somebody who will never get into one of those top 12 programs in college and whose NIL will never be evaluated for shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, schools like Eastern Michigan or Delaware State or Texas Southern or Abilene Christian or Alabama State or Buffalo or Coppin State or DePaul or Eastern Michigan, Fordham and Kennesaw State or LaSalle. How about New Orleans or Nichols? How about North Carolina A&T or Northwestern State? Robert Morris, St. Louis, Southern Miss, Tulane. That's right. You know what they do.
They get fondled by gamblers.
Yep, and that's winning, folks. Right?
I'm sorry for breaking the punchline there, but read about what's happened on that. That is just unbelievable.
Well, I mean, there are 39 schools, and they're just, it's like blatant point shaving going on to support gambling, and it's college athletes. And again, it's people who are never going to get to that
anywhere. Yeah, they're never going to get anything. So this is their time to make
hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, it's not winning, it's exploitation. It's exploitation of the athletes that are falling for this. They get a little bit of the money, but then their career gets tainted for the rest of their lives. How do you get a job after you've been point shaved?
But that's how bad people want to say, that's how I'm winning. I mean, and Class A and Ortiz, we got our money. We got our money in a cockfight. I don't know what you're talking about with these gambling things. We were gambling on cockfighting. Two animals killing one another, and that's winning. Go fuck yourself, Class A. And, and Major League Baseball, go fuck yourselves too. Wow. Because the goddamn Dodgers just picked up another
superstar.
$400 million.
$400 million.
Do you know that the payroll right now, as it stands, of the Los Angeles Dodgers is equal to the entire AL Central?
I can believe that.
It's true. It's not. I'm not making this shit up.
I can believe that without checking it. I mean, I think their payroll is worth more than the Guardians franchise.
That's not winning, man. That's not winning.
That's consolidation and exploitation.
As fans, we want our team to do well,
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is the notion that what is it that makes a winner is so contorted right now in our society. It used to be that you came up with a better mousetrap, a better idea, and you started a business. And you know what it is now? You start a fledgling airline with as much investment as you can so you can sell it to one of the big guys. So the price to fly from city to city gets more and more expensive for people.
Correct. That's everywhere on everything.
So nobody runs a business. You open a business to sell it.
Oh, okay. Can I interrupt briefly about Odyssey here? I'm looking at their very long Wikipedia page.
Yep.
And way down in one of the entries, it talks about partnerships with other stations. And it says, in June 2025, Odyssey partnered with iHeartMedia, sharing its Odyssey's radio stations and podcasts with iHeartRadio.
Yep.
So basically, it's all one fucking company.
That's right.
At the end of the day.
And you want to know something? The radio stations in Binghamton, New York that I sold were sold to Clear Channel, which became iHeart, which is now Odyssey.
Yeah,
you understand how it works. They wanted to get my fat Jewish ass the fuck out of there. I had no business in that industry. And, I'm grateful because they all are going to bankrupt on that investment because nobody really gives a shit about radio anymore.
The bankrupting is an interesting topic that we could have a 20-minute show about.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way. It's just another way. It's bookkeeping.
Yeah, who are the creditors and who are the debtors there in that one? That's a really good one.
Yeah, all of us as fans, some of us only care if our bet goes through and we make money. Others,
yeah, absolutely.
Others, just if a black guy ascends to the starting quarterback position, they just want to hate, and they want to, and even if their argument, like Sports Boy Tony, is, he shouldn't be playing. There's no way we should be playing. And it's like, you supported Dillon Gabriel? I mean, there's a reason why this is being said. Yeah. And there's no way you can compete. Now, granted, if I were Joe Rogan and I changed my political mind every 10 minutes and I was trying to please everybody and give Joe Rogan credit because he has made the long form podcast thing into a very lucrative thing.
Yeah, but that's a shtick. Is like all of these things are. But so I would say Dillon Gabriel is your DEI quarterback, really, isn't he? Let's give him a job because he's got a particular color.
I don't know what it was that Kevin Stefanski wanted him. I don't know. I mean, there was nothing in his record, nothing. I mean, a guy who stays in college football for 6 years or 5 years. I mean,
Carson Beck, man, that's another one who's coming out this year.
Yeah. What's he waiting for? And the bottom line is that for a guy like Dillon Gabriel, he fooled Jimmy Haslam, which honestly is not very difficult to do. And because Jimmy Haslam has more money through investments and whatever shady dealings he's had. And I can tell you the only reason he's the owner of the Cleveland Browns was because he was a 2% owner of the Steelers, and they wanted him in that division. They said, what a dumb cracker this guy is.
We can get rid of him. Yeah. Makes the Steelers better getting rid of him and makes the Browns worse.
Yeah,
now he's gone and made the Milwaukee Bucks worse as well.
Yeah, it's like killing two birds with one stone. So this isn't winning. I mean, my definition of winning is watching a Cleveland Browns football season that's entertaining. A team that any given week has a chance to win or play somebody tough. If you get a few breaks to go your way, you might get a playoff game and maybe two, and then the whole city goes crazy. All right. You get 1.5 million people to come to downtown Cleveland when the Cavaliers win the whole thing. That's winning. Winning is when the Cavaliers won the championship. But fans who thought that then they could badmouth LeBron James, that's not winning. You know, why are you watching? Are you watching just to be malcontents? Are you watching just to say bad things about this player or that player? The only player I really have a problem with on the Cleveland Browns is Jerry Jeudy. All right. And that's what I see with my eyes. I know nothing about him personally. I didn't follow him in college. He wasn't a famous football player's son. He just can't catch the fucking football. Okay. He statistically, he is moribund.
Well,
He can't help the team.
funnily enough, he had his best games in the last 2 weeks of the season, which is like, maybe that had something to do with maybe the players knew Stefanski was going. I don't know.
Well, you know, I knew weeks before that Stefanski
Yeah.
was going, and somebody has not hired him yet, and
No.
somebody will. But I mean, and I've had a great running conversation with Jack Gorman, who was on the program and has participated on the show here, and talking about selection of, you know, they're going to do a second interview with Jim
Right.
Schwartz, right? And
As if they need to do that, like they don't already know his qualities and capabilities.
but here's the thing, and I would not expect that my defensive coordinator, who's done a really good job for the Browns, would automatically know the offensive coordinator that he would choose to make the Browns a doggy day winner. You know, I don't understand that line of thinking. They're two completely different jobs. And what I've learned through my years of watching is the Browns offense under Marty Schottenheimer never got better than it was under Lindy Infante. And then when Marty took over and started thinking he understood offensive football, everything went to hell in a handbasket. And the bottom line is, you can say, well, he did a lot better in Kansas City. Did he win a Super Bowl?
He didn't really do that much better in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think.
he was locked in, just like Kevin Stefanski. What happens is you're coronated to become a head coach, all right? And when you're coronated, it gives you the right to choose your offensive coordinator, and your offensive coordinator becomes beholden to you. And therefore, what the big man says goes. But that's the way it is every level up. So if we'll use Jim Schwartz as an example, because I think he's done a great job as a defensive coordinator. And I think anybody in his situation that's being interviewed is going to be in the same situation, not just Jim Schwartz. So you don't think I'm hating on this guy. You're going to wind up with whoever gets that head coaching job is going to name his offensive coordinator. And it was like with this whole Harbaugh thing. I mean, why is Harbaugh rushing to the New York Giants, for God's sakes?
Because they got the money to pay him.
At 63 years of age, it's like, New York, New York. He wants to be a big time player. He wants to be seen.
Absolutely.
Big market number one. And you know something? He'll get paid a lot of money, and he will have his say over that losing, weak organization that has never been able to get it done. And he's going to bring Todd Monken with him, because Todd Monken's his little bitch. And if you want to know the truth, what do you want Todd Monken for as your offensive coordinator if he's somebody's little bitch? You don't want that. You want independent thinkers. Winning comes from independent thinking. It doesn't come from playing follow the leader, for God's sakes.
Wow. Yeah.
And I hate this thing. It's like, well, we're going to do a second interview so he can tell us who his idea for offensive coordinator is. If your general manager, if you don't know who your best choice is, Jim Schwartz ain't going to help you.
No.
John Harbaugh ain't going to help you. Nobody's going to help you. Jesus Christ himself isn't going to help you.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't evaluate talent, why do you have the job, It's just amazing.
I just can't for the life of me. So when somebody says to me it's about winning, no, it's not.
No,
It's about leverage. John Harbaugh comes up and says, you have to give me this much money. You got to give me this much rope, this much. I got to have this authority over my defense coordinator, offensive coordinator. I want to fuck your wife 6 times a week. I want to, whatever the hell it is. And the people in New York at the Giants, they've been fucked over so many times. They're like, okay, I'm spreading my ass cheek. Here, go ahead. Put your dick in me. They're going to hire a big name. And if you look at the second go around of big names in the NFL, it ain't so sweet.
No,
I kept talking about, Vince Lombardi, but there's others. There's others who are like, wow. I mean, Bill Belichick's been a great college coach, hasn't he? Take him out of, New England with Tom Brady. He's really not that good a coach, is he? I mean, stop and think about it. Take a look again. Winning is winning. It's all in the record. You're either winning or you're losing. That's not hard to figure out. And all these people who are being interviewed, it's the people who are wanting to be interviewed as offensive coordinators have their eyes on the next level to become head coaches. And that's where the problem is. That before they've conquered the job at hand, they're already looking for the next one because they just keep shoving food down their faces because they're pigs. And that's what pigs do. Except pigs have better digestive tracts than people do. And the fans are the ones who get sick watching it. Because it's like, how in the hell did this ass clown get hired? How does Pat Shurmur, after what he did in Cleveland, get hired by the Giants? Because you know something? They're bound to lose. They don't know anything about the business they're in, but they make money. You just, the New York Giants, just media rights alone, they make so much fucking money. And who owns the stations that do the New York media? That's right. George Soros, and Odyssey, and the other 4 companies that own the rest of it. And they're all happy as clams. And the fans are trying to figure out what's the winning for us when we have to pay this much money for tickets and parking and food to watch these bozos play and lose? And they want me to subscribe to 4 different
networks,
TV networks so I can watch games? I have to feed this fucking monster? It's to me, it's like the whole thing has been lost. The whole meaning of this has been lost. And winning is through creative thinking. It's putting together something that somebody else wouldn't have thought of. And it may only confuse the league for a year until they look at it in film. And then another creative person will come up with a defensive methodology that may stop your scheme. And that means the offensive coordinator has to be forever restoring fresh ideas into the offense. You got to have a good thinking person. You're not going to tell me that Romeo Crennel was a thinker. You're not going to tell me that Kevin Stefanski knew shit about how to change his offense once the league figured it out. They were running behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, we were supposed to be running plays that were, trick plays, that were deception plays. And the defense was running to the guy who was going to end up with the ball.
They knew the plays better than we did. Like there'd be a flea flicker and there'd be a linebacker riding the guy, finally getting the ball to throw it downfield.
So who owns the media is going to they're just going to make you look this way instead of looking straight forward and looking at what you have as a fan and saying, something, there's some old bullshit here. We're not getting better. and the price to get into the game is getting higher, and they're going to ask me to add to my taxes to pay for Jimmy's dome. Are you fucking kidding me? But you'll keep doing it because you're like the guy who's whipped, who thinks the only way he can win is by occasionally winning a wager. And that's what it comes down to. Winning is not just about money. Money could be the result of winning, but that's not the definition
of them. It's not the thing itself.
Yeah. And look at this headline on Cleveland.com, for God's sakes. How can the Browns fix their offense if quarterback is not an option in the draft? And it's like, something? The last time I checked, at any given moment, there are 10 other guys on the field. And if the 10 other guys are doing their job and your quarterback is mediocre,
Trent Dilfer, you can still win.
Well, I mean, there's the history is full of Doug Williams having his big season. And I mean, the history of Jim Plunkett having his big season. And
Earl Morrall, for God's
sake.
sake.
You can win on a short-term basis with a journeyman quarterback. And because if you have other people who are doing their job, if they're protecting the quarterback, if you have wide receivers who can get open, no, it's not nearly as good as if you had a Hall of Fame quarterback. But how many are there? And what are the odds that you're going to get them? And, you know what? The thing that really kills me, we're just going to have to tank. What the fuck?
That's terrible thinking. Tanking is just... Oh, but something just popped in my head. Those fantastic Washington Redskins teams from the 70s and 80s, and they were called the Redskins back then. Their main focus was their offensive line and having running games like John Riggins and Larry Brown, I think the guy was, and they had some great teams, but they never had a great quarterback. I mean, they had Joe Theismann for a few years. But they had Sonny Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer, and then they had Doug Williams, and they had a whole load of guys that were kind of Mark Rippon, and but they were a great team because they had the offensive line. They had the Hogs. They actually had an identity. They were so famous that people would go and dress up as them. We need Hogs in Cleveland.
Yeah, you need to control the line of scrimmage.
You draft the quarterback.
I mean, and you say, well, the quarterback holds on to the ball too long. Well, with the Cleveland Browns, that's 2.2 seconds. They're in the backfield before he even turns around and looks to see who's open. And that's true of Dylan Gabriel. It's true of Shedeur. It's true of Joe Flacco. There was no protection for the quarterback. So, this whole notion is how can we fix our offense if we're not going to draft a quarterback is just ignorance. It's pure ignorance.
It's the wrong question to ask. I mean,
look at who's still alive.
Knows your plays. He's going to be back there in 2 seconds with you.
Who is left standing in the NFL and who are their quarterbacks right now? Take a look at who's Seattle's quarterback. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. He's been hurt. He's been dinged up too.
Yep.
And the 49ers, Brock Purdy.
Underarmed Purdy.
He's pretty irrelevant if you ask me. You got the Los Angeles Rams that traded Godfrey Stafford. And Stafford's like about 40 years old now.
Yep.
And you've got Justin Herbert. You got and you did have Trevor Lawrence, but he got knocked out.
Right.
You've got Caleb Williams, who's probably the best quarterback of the bunch in comparison.
Right. And of these names that we mentioned, Stafford's about done. But you see, if you give him time to throw, he's done this so many times and he's got composure, like he ran on the last drive of the game to win. He understands the nuts and bolts of the game.
Yeah, because he's played 1,000 games.
He's had the benefit of having some really good coaching. And if you don't have good coaches who can communicate with young players, they're never going to become really good players. Not necessarily great players, but solid. solid players. And, everybody criticized the whole Baker Mayfield thing, but Baker Mayfield is a 500 quarterback.
And really, now that he's found a place in Tampa, he's gotten out at a good time. He got out, and he couldn't make it in Carolina or the Rams because those weren't fits for him.
But even with Tampa, he is a 500 quarterback in a division where they're all
a 500 division,
sub 500. And so, again, so maybe we can have a break in Cleveland because the division is getting weaker instead of stronger.
Every time you look at it, it gets weaker.
I mean, if Lamar Jackson goes back to pass and his leg goes out and he's done for the season, that new coach is inheriting nothing.
He's getting Snoop Huntley or whoever.
Yeah, nothing. And all the plans go right down the wastebasket because they're going to create an offense that's based around Lamar Jackson. And, but everybody is one step away from disaster. And but the fans don't realize. I'll tell you what winning is. If you want a definition of winning for Cleveland, can you be around a 500 team? Not that that's going to get you where you want to go, but you've got to start making positive steps so that the players who are really good that you have want to stay
and enjoy themselves and have fun.
My God.
Losing 3 times out of 4 every single fucking month, which is what this team has done for far too often, is no fun for anybody.
Now, here's the New York Jets. This is all illustration about winning and losing. The last New York Jets coach with a winning record over multiple seasons was Bill Parcells.
Jesus.
That was 97 to 1999. All right. And in those 2 years, he was 29 and 19 in those 3 years, I should say. And he made the playoffs. But Weeb Ewbank, my God, 1963 to 1973 is the only coach with a Super Bowl win and had a strong tenure. While Rex Ryan finished under 500 overall. Those are the only 3 names that come out when you say the most winning coaches recently with the New York Jets. Can you believe that in the history of the New York Jets? That's crazy shit. Who was the last winning coach for the New York Giants? Go ahead, answer me.
Oh, that's probably Parcells. No. Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, very good.
Tom Coughlin.
That's
the guy we used to complain about being a martinet and an evil bastard. Yeah.
Yep. And so the Giants, Tom Coughlin, he was,
he was a hard nut.
He won Super Bowls in 2008 and 2012. We know that story, all right? And but post Coughlin, I mean, give me a break.
Since he's left, they've not won anything in 10 years, easily.
Ben McAdoo, Joe Jubb, Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
No.
And that's nothing compared to how bad Jimmy Haslam's been. All right? Yep. But their success level has been as bad as the Browns, basically, in results when they have a history, at least that, by God, at least to the 2000s, they had a Super Bowl and had playoff runs. So that's that. All right. How about a list of Atlanta Falcons head coaches?
Oh, God.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Who were the ones with the winning records? Wouldn't be Norm Hecker or Norm Van Brocklin. It wouldn't be Marion Campbell. It wouldn't be Pat Pepler. The first one in the history of that organization in 1977 to 1982 was Lehman Bennett. Never heard of him.
Don't remember him.
No one does. He had a career record with them of a 52% win. Okay. All right. Then you had Dan Henning, who was 22 and 41. You had Marion Campbell, who was 11 and 32. Jim Hannafin stepped in to go 0 and 4. Jerry Glanville went there and was 27-37. June Jones was 19-29. Listen to this. Dan Reeves, they're 49-59.
Yeah, but he won. Well, he was in the playoffs at least once, maybe.
But I mean,
but no, they're awful.
These are all organizations. These are all organizations that have been terrible. And not as bad as the Browns. That's the point. Correct. So it's, but who is the biggest winner in the history of the Atlanta Falcons?
Probably Dan Quinn.
That's what people remember. That's not the truth.
Oh.
Mike Smith.
The
man was 112-66. The guy brought him to the playoffs 4 times. Nobody remembers him. Dan Quinn was 43-42. And then, of course, their most recent streak, Raheem Morris. We know about him. Arthur Smith. And then another go with Raheem Morris. Dancing with the devil. So
yeah, but they got a nice dome, no?
Yeah, right.
They got one of the great stadiums of the NFL.
And the guy who owns the team owns box stores. I mean,
some of the worst franchises have fucking domes in this league. God damn it.
The guy owns Home Despot.
Wow.
God almighty. So the Browns are going to give Jim Schwartz a second interview. And I don't care if Jim Schwartz gets the head coaching job. The only thing I'm afraid of is that he's going to get a penile hard-on and he's going to start thinking he knows more than he knows. And he's going to say, I've been a defensive coordinator for so long and I got my ass pushed around by the head coach. I'm going to do a little belly bumping myself now. And that's the wrong attitude. The absolute wrong attitude. You got to come in and bring people in and use fresh ideas to get where you want to go. But somehow Jim Schwartz doesn't strike me as a guy who's a great offensive, creative mind. I don't sense that.
Guru and Schwartz is not something you associate.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. If they bring Schwartz in and say, you can be the head coach, but Jimmy's going to tell you who the offensive coordinator is. I mean, it's a no-win scenario. Honestly, I would not take a job with the Cleveland Browns. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, if Jimmy Haslam's going to tell you who your staff is or who your players are, you just don't want the job. You want to go somewhere else. You really don't. And there's plenty of teams out there that you can join now. There's 7-8 other teams. But can I make a quick comment here?
Yep.
Sort of, it's not off the wall here, but as far as drafting a quarterback, I would say that the Ravens and the Steelers are more in need drafting a quarterback than the fucking Browns are, because I don't know whether Rodgers has actually retired. He should. If he had any sense, he would. Steelers have nobody, and the Ravens will have nobody when Jackson gets hurt again next year. So those are the franchises, because they got other pieces. They've got linemen, they've got linebackers, Kyle Hamilton and TJ Watt and all these fuckers. We're the team that doesn't have a line. So, every team in the AFC North needs a quarterback more than the Browns do in the draft. That's my argument, but you won't hear people say that.
As far as if you want an offensive lineman, the guy from Miami, Magoa, this guy is a monster, 6'6" and 335 pounds. You need to have an anchor on the line, but he's a right tackle.
Block two guys.
He's a right tackle, not a left tackle, and the Browns will probably try to
fuck him over.
Move him to the other side,
and he can't move that way, or his legs don't work that way.
Yeah. So he's he's been a 3-year starter for the Hurricanes, and we know that Miami's had a breakthrough year, and that's going to help him as
Oh,
far
and
as.
the defensive line that Miami's got is unbelievable. They fucking ass raped Justin saying, just say it, when Ohio State played them.
Yeah. Now, here's the other part of this. I mean, if you have to use your sixth pick on an offensive lineman, you're going to have to do it. But boy, fans are not going to be happy about that.
Oh, I would be, but I'm not your typical fan, so
I understand. And
I would
when
be
you look at
fucking overjoyed.
the wide receiver situation, if you then say, okay, then we need a wide receiver, and we're going to be down at the 24th pick, then you're looking at, guys like Denzel Boston. There's a couple of guys, Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. We've had great history with that university. I, I don't know what to tell you.
That interview, that podcast with Manziel and Joe Thomas, that made me want to cry. That was so sad seeing Johnny Manziel and Joe Thomas like telling truth to him. I mean, it was just like, if you guys haven't seen that, you should watch that. That'll depress the fuck out of you.
Well, I mean, everybody has a day when they think that they're invincible, and then somehow reality steps in, And Krembley, you're absolutely right about this, and therein lies the problem. Where the moral dilemma is when the pursuit of money becomes more important than the pursuit of values. Then you have
morality winning.
A real problem.
What you're saying is winning is a moral thing, not a monetary thing. And it's based on the ancient Greek idea of excellence.
NFL owners are making more money than they can ever spend, and their families can ever spend. I mean, if they're losing, they're making more money than they can ever spend, and they're investing it, and God only knows how they're going about that. But I have to assume that if Emmanuel Clase will lie like making up a cockfight because he was betting on games, that the owners are doing some really illegal things as far as avoiding tax payments and things of that nature. I have to assume that because they're not trying to win. They're just trying to make more money. And, it's more important that they get that dome so that then Jimmy Haslam can buy up the real estate around it. And he can, and maybe bring in a casino, or God only knows what else he'll do. God only knows.
Dome is like the meal ticket for the next 2 generations of Haslams. Assuming the world carries on in a normal trajectory, there's going to be Haslams in Cleveland till the year 2300. If unless you get rid of them now, because that dome, that's their. You look at the 3rd generation NFL owners that are out there, and they're all horrible. Every single one of them. That's what you're going to have in Cleveland.
My final thought about the Browns and about this whole notion of winning is Jim Schwartz was a head coach for the Detroit Lions, and so there is somewhat of a record on him. He had a good year, a 10-6 season, and the very next year he was starting out the season okay, man. They were off to a 5-2 start. And then everything went to hell in a handbasket. They lost 6 of their last 8 games, and they fired him. Right, and it's not like the Lions have been a great winner. And the funny thing is that Dan Campbell's having a remarkably similar run here.
Yeah, well, he got
great years.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, you have a few, maybe 1 or 2 good years, but to sustain that, you have to have a creative base, not just in your mind, but you got to have assistants and coordinators who have a good idea about how to go about doing that.
I'll go back to a thing I said the other day. I mean, you got to be able to evaluate talent, and that talent is not just the all pro guys. You got to be able to evaluate. You got to be able to evaluate all the way down to the practice squad level, because you're playing practice squad people in December and January. You got to be able to know who your best team is and not fucking tinker with it. And if Stefanski honestly thought that Dylan Gabriel had more talent than Shedeur, then that's a serious lack of talent.
Well, you have to assume that's
the part.
Well, nobody else was in a position to make that call because his offensive coordinator wasn't even allowed to call plays. He provided the goddamn playbook. He told the guy, "You pick from these," and they gave him 2 quarterbacks from the draft, and he just zeroed in on the one, and that was his choice. Nobody can deny that that's what happened, and the guy is not an NFL quarterback. And it's the same thing with DTR, who's now playing somewhere in the UFL. And you can't make such blinding mistakes.
Evaluation, yes.
Well, the only thing worse than drafting somebody like that is your head coach getting behind it and insisting on playing him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a double down in a way.
I mean, how many games did Anthony Schwartz play when it was clear that he had no football acumen or IQ?
You know what it amounts to is that somebody's embarrassed to the front office that they drafted him, and and the general manager is like, I'm going to try to justify this. And it's like Cedric Tillman, that you can keep running him out on the field, and he might have a good day here and there, but he's going to get hurt or he is just not going to be a factor. And it's no different than Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah. He's got to have a good year, but he never amounted to anything when he went to Detroit. No, and the only reason is we had nothing here. I mean, and the real question is, I want to see some real receivers with Fannin. I want to see if teams don't have to.
Oh, good point. I mean, there was a big deal made about how Stefanski supposedly discovered Harold Fannin and was glad that he had a shitty combine and all that because he knew he was a football player. That's the only player I've ever heard people compliment Stefanski for finding. That's the only player. I have not heard that story about any other fucking player. If it actually happened before Fannin, we don't fucking
He was a narcissist, and he may not have even felt that way. He may be taking credit for that. Who knows? But the fact is that Donovan Peoples-Jones had that 1 year where he caught, like 800-900 yards worth of passes, but there was nobody else to throw to. And, Fannin was in a very similar situation where he was, in a tight end oriented offense. And it
was like that year that Peyton Hillis had that 1,200 yard because nobody else was there to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. So we'll find out more, but I can't imagine that Harold Fannin, the guy I saw this year, if he had to go one-on-one with people, he'd twist them up like a pretzel if there were wide receivers that the other team had to worry about.
Yep.
And, and the other thing is if there was a quarterback who could actually throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field, that would have something to do with it too. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about the Cavaliers as well. And obviously, tonight's game, the back-to-back in Philly, tonight's game is going to be fugly because we don't have Darius Garland playing. We don't have Sam Merrill playing. But we do have Larry Nance Jr. and we have Lonzo Ball. And a lot of people are saying, Lonzo's getting back on the floor and playing again. And it's like, we're 3 weeks away.
You knew that.
It's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to showcase the son of a bitch. If you can get rid of him, go for it.
The Price is Right showcase. Here he is. Lonzo Ball.
A brand new car. It's like.
Or you can have this box that Monty's holding.
Right.
You just won a llama.
Her name is Dolly.
Dolly Llama.
Yeah. Well, so the Cavaliers, this notion, and God only knows that there are people online who I chuckle. I think some of them are very well intended.
You chortle? That's an English word.
Yeah, chortle.
Chortle.
And I know they're nice people. They're good people. They're positive fans, like making comments like, we got to keep the momentum going. It's been one win. That's not momentum. It's like,
no,
stop it.
No.
So yeah, we're gonna get our asses handed to us because you know.
I can't watch.
But
Oof.
but here's the real problem with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What is the real problem?
And,
Tell me.
well, Dean Wade is coming back for 10 minutes. He'll be out for 4 more weeks.
My knee, Austin.
But the thing with Darius Garland, he's hurt the big toe on his other foot. Now,
how do you do
know,
that? Is it bad shoes? I'm thinking it's bad shoes.
no, I think there's a lot of issues. And I think the more that he plays a game that is going into the paint and he's going to literally fall on people's feet, he's in traffic, the more he shot pull-ups and floaters and that kind of thing, he's all right. But when he tries to penetrate too much, he's swallowed up. But he is going to have a short career. He's going to have a short NBA career because his body is too small to play the way he's playing, and he refuses to get in better strength conditioning in the offseason. People say, well, he was injured in the offseason. Not all the seasons he's been in Cleveland. He looks like somebody's little kid brother out there. He's exceedingly talented, but his body won't hold up.
Well, his frame probably can't cope with, putting much more mass on anyway.
The game, I'll tell you, the game has become so much faster and more physical. I mean, it's and what the 76ers are going to do tonight. They're just going to come out and
beat the fuck out of us.
Yes, they're just going to play physically and just, they're going to dare the referees on their home court after losing to the Cavaliers. They're going to dare the referees to blow the whistle and call fouls on them. They're going to be reaching and grabbing and they're going to be throwing illegal screens, and they're going to be giving elbows, and they're going to be pushing the Cavaliers under the basket away from rebounds. That's that's what we have to deal with.
I wish we had drafted Edgecombe. I think he's going to be a great player if he doesn't get hurt. So, I really like him.
Yeah, I think that what the 76ers showed in the last game was just horrific. I mean, it was like,
like I've said, I mean, they're a team that doesn't enjoy playing basketball. You just look at them and they look miserable, and we've seen Cleveland teams like that. They don't enjoy what they're doing or what they're playing, and the Sixers just look miserable as fuck. I mean, Embiid never looks happy,
Yeah, it's the 76ers. What did they call it originally?
A
process, and it's been an elongated, unsuccessful process. And
there's something tainted with that franchise for a long time.
And I'm being asked, who do I got winning the game?
Oh, the game's tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah, Buffalo. To me, Buffalo and Denver.
It's hard to beat anybody in Denver. It always has been.
That's a tough place to play, and I don't know what the weather's like, so I can't even begin.
Yeah, it could be anywhere from 70 to fucking 30 below in Denver.
And I would be, the way Seattle's been playing, if they lose to San Francisco, that's going to be pretty fugly. Seattle's a tough place to win at, and I'm going to have Seattle in that game. And
I read something about Darnold not being 100%. I don't know.
No, that's true. He has a secondary injury that he's still nursing. And but
they hurt his forehead or something, massive forehead he's got.
I don't know what I read it, and I'm not retaining it. It was something I think it was like in his body or his rib cage or something like that. It was something that was a body, not a leg thing.
Not a leg.
But
a torso thing.
Yeah, that's what my recollection tells me. And if anybody knows that, chat room, fire away.
But I would avoid Seattle if Darnold's hurt. I don't. No.
And the thing is, Allen got over the hump, and so now he's got to go into another hostile environment. And the question is, what will Bo Nix do in his moment in the sun versus?
They haven't played for a couple of weeks now. So
that's right.
Are they going to be rusty like these CFP playoff teams?
And I think that's probably right, Rick.
Yeah, that sounds plausible. I mean, At some point, the NFL's got to go to an NBA type of playoff system where it's conference based and not division based, because we cannot have these 8 and 9 teams having home games and making a 12-5 or 13-4 team go on the road and have to fucking play some 500 chump team in their own stadium. It's just a joke. Yeah.
I mean, and the weather can't be good. Houston going to New England, that's going to have to be a very cold field. And at Chicago, I know up in Ohio right now, we've been getting all kinds of snow.
Well, I've heard the iguanas are dropping in Florida. You got the iguana dropping season going on. So
that's different.
But what does Dwayne Stat think about all that?
I'm just trying to stay away from the lizard shit. That's what I'm trying to do.
Go fuck. You know, I haven't said go fuck yourself today. You've done it a couple times. Well, I have not said that. So
who is Dwayne Stat?
No, I haven't said go fuck yourself about anything. You know, like some certain people can go fuck themselves.
I was watching Bruce Drennan. He was
He's still around.
He was doing some a podcast thing on it's one of the networks. It's not a big network; it's a podcast network, and I don't recall. But it was.
I love you, Cleveland. Go fuck yourselves.
No, he's taken on a new thing. It's like,
oh, has he got a new act?
No, not really. He's like, I really don't think the Browns are going to be able to get any better. I just don't believe it. And
I don't believe it.
Yeah. And I'm looking at him, and it's like it's worn old Bruce down.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and it's like, so who you betting on, Bruce? Shut up.
Who's gonna make the over?
I really like Bruce. I really do. I think he's a real
everybody
nice guy.
should love Bruce.
But he actually had to share a jail cell with Bruno.
Can you imagine like what he must think seeing all these news headlines about these kids from Eastern Michigan and bumfuck university having to point shave to get money to pay tuition? Yeah,
put him into a prison in West Virginia.
My asshole's never been the same since. It started off this big. It's not that big.
The way he got that slug line was that Bruno, his cellmate, it was like he was forced to say, "I love you, Bruno." Yeah. But but listening to Bruce, he was like, I don't think that they can get this done. And I think all of us kind of have that feeling that it's kind of hopeless.
That's always in the back of our mind, that everything's hopeless and everybody's dead and life's meaningless. Yeah,
that's interesting. He has a weekly show called Bonus Time with Drennan on the Big Play. That's what it was.
Big Play. I've never heard of it.
No, actually, Donald Trump has a program in Dick Play. Wow. Sports. Oh, I'm kidding. No, it's and then Joe Biden has something on the
autoplay network. You just click on it.
Non-functional Dick Sports Network. But no, I don't know who all these people are behind Big Play. Well, it's gambling companies, I think, and that's got to be the ultimate thing. I wonder what Bruce thinks. It's like he's got to watch his P's and Q's, or else he's going to be limping again.
We love Bruce, but we don't love him in that way.
Actually, I really had nice conversations with Bruce when we were doing the whatever, what was it called again? DSN, right?
DSN. Oh, the glory days of DS. That's like 12 years ago now.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
And what the hell? There wasn't a place I ever worked at that I didn't get fired from. So.
I wonder if Gary the numbers guy is still alive. He was a fucking legend.
He's alive and counting. I listened to that
grifter.
No, I listened to that guy once because he was on the air after me. Right?
I listened to him quite a few times, actually. I'd say at least 6, 7, 8 times.
And oh my God, it was
was
like
nuts as
this
hell.
guy's delusional. It's like this is like they have the talents. They had Bruce in the morning, and then they had the more talented people. And when
And then-
Moohead came on, it really started dropping off. Really started dropping off. And then by the time the insane guy comes on there, and he's saying, if you put this number together with this number and you
It
divide
makes
it
a
by
level.
6, that's
Yeah,
how many children you're going to have.
Yeah, if you add up the birth dates of Michael Jordan and LeBron James, they add up to the same number, which is shit he came up with. I think it's true that.
I didn't find it entertaining at all. But then again, the people at DSN didn't find Moohead Radio very entertaining.
They found it
either.
embarrassing.
I mean, that I got on that network at all was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was going to be an epic, fucking memorable moment.
The cow going on.
See, that's the thing. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't evaluate their talent. If they had seen like 5 hours of your shows, they would have known, like, we can't fucking put this on over the air free on Cleveland.com.
God bless
We
the
get
program
killed.
director there. The program director, I felt badly for him
Yeah,
because
he couldn't have watched your program for 5 hours. I mean, if you watch your program for 30 minutes when you're sounding all very radio-like and professional and analytic, and
yeah,
all
if you
that,
heard the wrong bite on the
it's
show, you
fucking-
might think I
but
was
if you fucking
responsible.
heard me and Tony the Calf and DG going on about something, and then you falling off your
or me
chair.
calling sports franchises and tormenting their ticket offices live
Yeah.
on the air.
Did you get
Yeah.
my son Tony a ticket for the Minnesota Vikings?
The show, folks, believe me, the show is tame now compared to what it used to be
It's a
because
lot
I'm an
calmer,
older
yeah.
cow. But
Yeah,
back
so
then,
am I.
oh my God,
Oh, bets were off.
I did some things that I should never have done.
Well,
And
you wouldn't have done if you knew you were on a national free network that you had to be responsible. Just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have either. So
and
Yeah.
the thing that I will always remember, it was during the period of, and I call it false patriotism. Whenever, it's like, you're disagreeing with a foreign
it was
country.
like the Tea Party era
Yeah,
back then.
yeah, right. And the guy who was programming the thing, he wanted the national anthem at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. And I said to him,
Yeah.
come on. I said, of every hour on the show, I mean, my show was like, a couple hours long on that thing. And, we take commercial breaks and they'd make their money. And I would sit there and twiddle my thumbs and think of the next obnoxious thing I was going to say. And it got totally ridiculous. He says, at the top of the hour, you play the national anthem. And then at the bottom of the hour, and then at the top, I said, how many times do they have to hear the national anthem, dude?
We already know the song, mate. We can sing along to the lyrics. We don't need to know it.
So what I did was, at the time I was playing, and I still do play with, music programs. Say it's AI.
AI.
Back then it was, I was doing a lot more manually. And so I just decided to turn the national anthem into a polka for the people in Parma. And he did not
I
find
don't
anything
remember that.
humorous about that.
I
And-
don't remember that. I'd love to hear that.
Oh my God. It was the national anthem, and it was an accordion, and it's just,
everyone singing the national
he
anthem.
called me after the program, said, what in the fuck are you doing? I said, I'm Frankie Yankovic. Come on.
You had, to be fair, you had listeners from Parma there, so fair enough.
Basically, no, I didn't turn into anything. I was that way to
You
begin
were
with.
that guy.
Yeah, and I was just looking for
I'm a
trouble.
mad cow, and that was during the mad cow era too in England too.
Oh my God!
That was
But
a
yeah,
long time ago.
the national anthem. That's when I got fired.
It was around January.
And that was not DSN. That was the network before that I was. Yeah, DSN. I got let go because I was bad mouthing the program
Bad
director live on the program.
It was a bad fit. Let's leave it at that.
It was fun though. God, it
Oh,
was fun.
I'm sure they must be archived somewhere. Some of those DSN ones.
I wish there were. And you
had
know,
that green screen that made you look like you were in a fucking proper studio, and people fell for it too.
I was doing all kinds. I was trying so hard back then. You know, now I mean, it's nothing. It's my fucking house. I mean, you know, it's all blacked out behind me, and you know, it's nothing. Nothing to see here. Wait a minute. Disperse, people. There's nothing to see. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
well, we got to get going here because hey, we're only a half an hour away, basically 40 minutes away from the Cavaliers start.
Am I going to launch it or not?
Yeah, you know you're gonna, but you can always go to bed. You know, you
I
can
can
always
go to bed.
you
Yeah.
can always just try to go to sleep through your anger. You know.
Oh,
All right, Bronx. Thanks for sticking with me here. I appreciate it.
The bottom line is, Stephen, we don't know who's going to win the games this weekend. We have no idea. So
No, I really don't, and nor do I have a horse in the race. Now stop that. I don't.
Secretariat, play away.
Yeah, and whoever wins, I'm happy for. You know, I'm happy for Mendoza that he's in the national championship game. I'm happy for Miami, who are the underdogs. I'm happy for them. I want Miami to win just because they're the underdogs.
All right, here's a question that's relevant for everyone. Very quickly, are any of the games on Prime? Are they all, or are they all on networks that people can actually?
What the NFL games?
Yeah, the NFL games.
The one NFL game is CBS and Paramount Plus.
Right.
But I think they're just network.
I think they should just put them all on Netflix and just fuck people over. You know, here we go. We're not going to show any of the games on network TV. Fuck you. Go fuck yourselves, fans.
No, actually, what I did was worse.
It
Rick.
was.
I mean,
It was sacrilegious.
do you remember Stig Nevers?
Oh yeah.
It was a character that I created, and he was a punk rock singer, and this is why the Sex Pistols comment comes up. You know, and and Stig. I'll do Stig Nevers because it's been like
many
a
decade.
You know, there's one thing I can't stand. That's Debbie Gibson. Although I'd love to fuck her with a crucifix. Now that went off on DSN.
I'm done. I remember that now.
Stig Nevers, that was his slug line. It would always be a different one. It would be like, I just heard something from Tiffany, you know, and you know, I wouldn't mind fucking her with a crucifix. And it was funny, the punk rock attitude, but with
I'm dead, man. I'm gonna have to mute my mic.
With the Keith Richards voice, you know, guy who smoked too many cigarettes and who was like vulgar, and you know, he, you know, couldn't possibly live as long as he has, you know, that kind of. Stig Nevers was, you know, a punk star in the late 70s, but by the time he was on DSN, he was a little out of his time zone, you know. I love that song. I Think I'm Alone Now. You know, a lot of people don't understand that was Tommy James and the Shondells, you know. But when it was just clever, that girl, she would play in malls, and you know, it's like I'd get this big hard on, you know, and it was like I gotta find the crucifix. I don't know where it came from. It was just the most obnoxious thing, and oh my god, the woman who was there was a woman from the Plain Dealer. I forget her name now, and she had a lot to do with it. And she was like, "You can't say it. You can't say that." You know. Yeah. Why don't you send me your picture?
Oh, the compliance department at the plane dealer must have fucking loved you.
It
The
was just-
lawyers were going, we got to stop this now.
I'm so happy I did that now because it was like
great.
punking the establishment, you know?
Prime. If you had to pick my favorite era of Moohead, probably that DSN era was like right up there, and then the Romeo Crennel era with Leroy when Leroy was
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
That's also, I used to run all those photographs of babes at the end of the program for like about 10 minutes.
You know, there's something looking at a woman who knows football, who's like 63 years old. And you know something? With a dry pussy like that, I'd love to go after it with the crucifix.
Oh god! But this
I
is
know.
bonus vulgar mulehead. Moohead.
And the thing is that I don't care. I don't care. Mr. Moohead, I care.
Doesn't
But Mr.
care.
Moohead doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
You put Mr. Moohead on a network, you
Oh
know?
no, it's a recipe for embarrassment. and cringe.
Absolutely. And he would bite the hand that fed him. You know that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Bite it off and munch on it.
Yeah. All right, Bronk. Thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for
Yes,
tolerating these indulgences. I'll be back again on Monday, and we'll be talking about whether the Browns have gotten any closer to what they're eventually going to do, and whether it's right, wrong, or somewhere in between.
Anyway, if you find clips of DSN, you should just share them sometime. Share a screen of 5 minutes of it. That would be a fucking shock to all the new viewers out there.
I would have to go way, I used
a
to
Wayback
have
Machine.
no, I used to have a lot of them on disc, on compact disc,
Right.
but
But
during
they may have degraded.
no, the renovation of the house, they got lost.
Oh, they got damaged.
And so, but maybe one day they'll show up and I'll be able to get. But I'm glad I got to do Stig Nevers just one last time, once before I go. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, pasture heads.
Man.
Hey, good night.
Good night. Fuck off.